So I'm here with
Um,
Eric Roberts and Filippo Prandi, the actor and director of My Last Best Friend. So I guess I'll actually, Eric, I want to start with you. You're quite prolific as far as acting goes. Might be the most prolific. And I talked to Casper Van Dien like a couple months ago about um, actors who work as much as he does and as much as you do. Like, is there anything left to learn? Because I'm guessing with as much as like a mechanic would be working for 40 years, doing the same thing every day for 40 years, and they get to become a master of what they do. Is there anything you still learn with acting these days?
yeah, every day. It's not like after you do a lot, you know a lot. You just have done a lot, and you know what not to do a lot of. It's a mixed bag, but you never with something like acting or like painting or like dancing or like singing or like writing, anything that's a specific avenue, you never get finished. You're always getting better. You're always making a mistake that you don't make the next time, whatever it is. But it is a never ending process. And in many ways, I was a better actor in 1978 than I am now because I hadn't had this 40 years to think about it. And so I didn't second guess myself ever when I was a kid. And as an adult, I sometimes ask myself 3 or 4 times if this is best.
Yeah. Well, I'm not an actor, and it's not one of my aspirations. But the idea of learning lines for a movie would be pretty daunting for me. But you do like a bunch a year. Like how are you able to fit all that in your head and be able to get that on screen?
Well, learning lines is not very difficult, but when you don't have time, when it's an overnight thing, like I do a lot of things, I will wrap on a Sunday evening. I'll be on another set Monday morning. When that happens, you have to have cue cards, and I have a guy who makes mine, and he does nighttime and TV talk shows too, and they're big block letters, and you can see them across the street. So nobody ever sees me read because they're so far away. I can just glance at it, I know what it says, and I say my line. And but you get those when you have an 8 hour turnaround or a 14-hour turnaround on a project. That's when you use your cue cards, and you try not to because it distracts the other actors and it's a pain in the ass for your DP. But cue cards have saved my life maybe 30 times. So out of my 700 appearances, I've used them about 30 times, and I highly recommend them.
And Filippo, I would like to include you in this conversation, but the picture behind me is a particular scene. Eric Roberts acts against himself a lot. This particular scene was done really well. As far as because normally you have like the split screen and you can tell, but like you had the focus changed a lot and the camera was moving. Can you
Yeah,
kind of talk about that?
gladly. I love technical questions. Yeah, that particular scene was achieved via green screen, so that one character could, so the two characters could actually cross their ways, and yeah, I decided to that an important part of the effect was the rec focusing. And as a matter of fact, one of them, the focus shifts from the foreground to the background, but it's also different depending of how far the two characters are from one another. When they're closer, the one that goes out of focus is less out of focus than it was before. I I gotta be honest with you, I'm not a great fan of split screens in general. Like when they do them in movies to have two actors in focus at the same time. It's not split screen per se, but it's like a split lens kind of effect. I'm not a fan per se, and I knew that I couldn't have possibly done that in this movie because otherwise it wouldn't have given away the effect. Sometimes we did split screens, but there's also rotoscoping involved. So yeah, it was challenging. It was challenging, that's for sure.
And for both of you, like, what brought you two together for this? Filippo, like, what brought this movie to life, and then how did you come across Eric Roberts?
I wanted to work with Eric at some point.
Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to?
I'm a big fan of his, and I knew that he could pull it off. And quite frankly, I had another project in mind to film in 2020, but then the production had to be paused. We didn't even start principal photography because the pandemic came along, and then I wrote a screenplay, and then was My Last Best Friend, and I figured, hey, I couldn't get to work with Eric on that movie, but now I want to make another movie with him. So I kind of knew it from the beginning that I want to. Of course, I had to hope that it was going to be a possibility. I mean, of course, I can't speak for his schedule or anything, but we made it possible. So
Yeah. And Eric, see here, you're involved with the charity naturalchild.org, and you and your wife have an animal rescue. What can you say about those things?
Well, my wife will rescue anything at all, be it an insect, be it we get home. No, I'm not joking. We get home and we go straight to the pool with a skimmer, because sometimes there's a bee or a fly who gets caught in the water. And we save bees. And so everything is worth saving. And like I used to kill gnats, that kind of thing. Oh, gnat, and my wife, what do you just do? You just killed somebody's mother. And it was kind of funny at first, but it matters to her. And so because it matters to her, it matters to me. So, she won't kill anything. So how'd this come up? What are we talking about? What's the question?
The animal rescue. But real quick, Anderson Cowan, who started Cinematics, which is what we're on now, he does that same thing with the bees in the pool. So that I think I'll be quite glad to hear that, I'm sure. But yeah, we're talking about the animal rescue and then the naturalchild.org.
Well, naturalchild.org is the greatest discovery of my life in understanding the relationship between a parent and a child, and understanding a child, understanding the growing up and what it takes, and your input into it, and how it can be as glorious for you as it is for the child if you do it right. Jan Hunt, naturalchild.org. You'll be so glad you did.
Nice. And Filippo, I also wanted to. I saw you did a movie called Incompleto. Is that available online? Where can people see that?
I doubt it very much. That was my thesis in college. It was shot on a mini DV cam. And no, this movie, My Last Best Friend, marks my directorial debut. It's I did that movie, got some recognition at some awards, but I gotta be honest with you. When I look back at that movie, I gotta use the words that Kubrick used to when he looked back at his first feature film, Fear and Desire. It's like a kid's drawing that he did for mom and dad so they can pin on the fridge.
Yeah, I mean that
was very young.
That's pretty much art, isn't it? Yeah,
no, totally.
You're rough around the edges, and then you get better as you go along.
I can tell you one thing about that movie. It was my beginning as a video editor. At that time, I did it at a more like an amateur, but later on, simply by editing that feature film, when I went to film school here in the US, I went to New York Film Academy, and later on, when I worked for a production company, I did video editing. I was proficient with the editing softwares on account of that first feature film. So yeah, it was good. It was a good experience.
Yeah. Well, it looks like this is my Last Best Friend is opening at Cinelogue Sunset on Friday, September 22nd, and New York, Friday, September 15th at Stewart Cinema and Cafe. That's gonna be pretty exciting for you guys. You, especially Filippo, to have your movie played on big screens.
Yeah, it took me a while to finish it up, so we're glad that it finally sees the light of the day. We're very pleased.
Yeah. I'll end on this. My co-host Bruce we have a What's in the Box segment where we have people put movies in a box. These are movies that are that you really like, that you feel not enough people talk about. It's like, that one's really good. Why does no one talk about that? What, or maybe a movie that's like deeply personal to you that maybe that you keep going back to. What's a movie for each of you that you'd like to put in the box?
Let's see. Let's go with an old classic movie with great actors, great director, Harold and Maude.
Oh, that's actually Bruce's favorite movie. He nailed it.
Good movie. What a movie.
Yeah. And you, Filippo?
Movie in the box. Known, relatively unknown. Like it's hard to answer. I'll probably say Reds. Warren Beatty's Reds.
Yeah.
1981.
Right.
Yeah, the dialogue is what made me want to be a filmmaker. The dialogue scene between Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton. I think I recited it once on set, which might have been, I don't know, quite funny to witness. But when I listened to that dialogue, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. So yeah, that would be it. Reds.
Yeah. Well, Eric, Filippo, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Kevin. Eric.
Kevin, I go by Kevin too, but I'll go by the less talented Eric in the room, if I may.
But I corrected myself. Sorry, Eric.
No,
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, you guys have.
Dude, thank you. It was a real pleasure. Thanks.